What are you doing?
You said if I wanted to buy or sell a house in Central Florida that I should follow you.
On social media!
You got a link?
Buying or selling a home? Visit celebratingflorida.com or follow me on social media.
We are live and back on YouTube,
we're
Facebook,
back.
and Parts Unknown.
Finally, woo!
It's been a long time. We've been like a month away.
It has.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So,
Okay,
who do
so
I have
who's
with us
here? Lily, John, Cindy, Ken. Hi, Ken.
again? I don't see John. You see John?
Lily Johns.
Lily Johns. Okay.
Yes.
We've got a small group here. Boy, that's what happens when we go away.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're gonna have a fun show.
Yes.
What's Lily saying here? Missed having the show on while you were all on break. Glad you have it back.
Oh, thank you, Lily.
Thank you. We got a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
You want to
And
introduce?
he is back for a third visit.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Folkerts. And we are so happy to have you back, Jason.
Hey, there's the charm. I am really jazzed to be back. I like being on this show. It's a great show. So thank you.
You look cold though. You have a sweatshirt on.
You know, that is true. I'm looking at both of you, probably where I'm sitting. So, right, Winnipeg, you should be chilly.
Yeah, it's chilly today.
Yeah,
actually.
I am coming from the great, I'm coming from the great state of Minnesota. So Minneapolis, St. Paul. Yeah, Minneapolis.
So is it on the chilly side there?
Yes, on the shores of Lake Minnetonka,
Really?
where I am and our home is at. It is chilly today. It was.
Wow.
We had like this 3 or 4 day, probably Winnipeg, 3 or 4 days of like a heat wave. It kind of hit us hard, and then slammo whammo, it came in last night. I think the high today was 62 or something like that. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Oh wow, it's still.
So I had to break out my sweatshirt, which actually belonged to my son, but he kept on growing, and as he grew, so I started getting his hand-me-downs when he got there.
I'm just glad you're not wearing.
As an artist, I was never part of the Lincoln debate team. That was never that was not my forte.
I'm just glad you're not wearing any Minnesota Twins stuff because I might have to kick you off. Kicking off
We had a very good night last night.
that was a heartbreaker. I thought the Jays were going to come back in the.
You know what? And here's a kicker. I was actually driving down to see my daughter, who lives with her husband in downtown Minneapolis. I hate to say this. I should have known. I knew the game was happening. Kind of forgot about it. About 6:30, 7 o'clock, I left to go down to her place. And I was like, I saw the lights of the stadium and it was just finishing up. It was crazy. It was obvious who won because the people were going nuts on the streets downtown Minneapolis. It was pretty exciting. So it was a good night last night. Yeah.
Well, it's good for the Twins. I hope the Twins get it. They're like my second favorite team after the Jays.
Wow.
So
okay.
I'll be rooting for the Twins now.
All right, we'll take the number 2 slot and win you over and get you.
There you go.
Yeah,
I've never been to the new stadium. I've been to the Metrodome a few times. I haven't been to
I tell you, the stadium, I have a nephew who's a huge fan, and so I wouldn't usually go unless he wants to go. But wow, it's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, it's of course they all are nowadays. Any stadium that's been built in the last 10 years compared to what I remember growing up, it's not.
Yeah.
Lily is saying that their school is Lincoln also.
What is that?
Lily Jones.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go.
Their school is also a Lincoln school. So,
yeah.
We got a brand new segment we're going to debut today. We're going to have our Disney detail as usual, and we're going to talk with Jason. That's about the plans for today. So would we want to start with the new segment?
Yes.
Okay, so I got a brand new segment. So it's I'll play the intro first. It's very
Okay.
Where in the world is Victor Naraki?
All righty. So this is our new segment. So this is going to replace our hidden Mickey. We can kind of go back and forth or whatever. So where in Walt Disney World is this?
Oh my.
Is that in Buzz Lightyear?
It is not in Buzz Lightyear.
It looks, space kind of creaturey.
Is it Guardians of the Galaxy? Something with that in that area?
There we go. Look at this.
Wow.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Man.
Jason got it.
Nice.
I was saying to myself, have I drawn that? I must have drawn that. I must have drawn that. And I have drawn Guardians of the Galaxy things.
But what's interesting is
yes, I do.
These kind of look like shotgun shells here to me.
I don't know. That's the outside statue of the
or bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you have it zoomed in like that, it looks like some kind of space octopus.
There you go.
So
there you go. Guardians of the Galaxy. We're talking about comic books. Here's a comic book cover I did. Guardians of the Galaxy. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you do that? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's Rocket Raccoon. So I told you I knew I get that one. What do I win? Do I win something? Do I win something?
You win our admiration.
You win. You're now a trivia answer for the first person to guess correctly the "Where in the World is Victor Naraki" segment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't win a free trip to Disney World.
Ken thinks that intro must have cost us a fortune. Lily likes the comic book cover. Victor's new haircut is also awesome. Yes. Yeah. So I was busy while we were away. I was working on a little project. I was making the Nick Wilde figurine out of bricks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it was huge. It was big. It took me like almost a month. So here we are. I think it might have looked a little bit bigger on the internet. But this is like the biggest thing. No, that's not it.
No.
I said no.
No. There he is.
There's my 4 foot tall Nick
Wilde.
He'll be in my background now in the solo studios.
That is absolutely the coolest thing ever. And I was watching you on Facebook as you were building it going upward. And I'm going to say this publicly on this podcast because I listen to Smartless all the time, which is his podcast, Jason Bateman. Mm-hmm. You seriously need to get a picture or something to him because he was the voice of the character, correct? Right. And I know they're making it too. He would love that, I bet, if you could somehow get it to him, because that's so cool. That is so cool.
Well, it's a kid. Like I didn't design it. I just followed the instructions and
but still,
it is. I'm so happy with how it came up.
Yeah.
The only thing is I have it so close against the wall, I had to take the tail off. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to walk. So the tail's just lying on the side.
It's probably it's like that's huge. It's amazing.
It's big. Yeah,
it's so cool.
Ken is saying that is amazing.
I still can't believe it only took you as long as it did. That would have taken me like a year.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't take that long. It's just when I had 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here, I worked on it, and a couple of full days was spent on it. But yeah,
okay,
it was fun. All righty, so that's who's the forgot to mention. I am so bad at this. Who is the? Oh boy, come on, back up. There we go. Where in the World is Victor Naraki? Brought to you by Disney at YourDoorstep.com. If you're planning to move in and or around the Orlando area, in particularly Walt Disney World, Universal Studios, and such, contact Victor Naraki He'll get you the best deal you could possibly get on a home.
Yes, he
And,
will.
make sure you tell him the Grand Circle Tour sent you. There we go. Now that bill is paid.
All right.
Marcus has to cut back your brick allowance. All righty. Should we do the Disney detail?
Yeah, let's do that. Then we'll get into
And
our
then we'll
discussion.
be
Yes.
okay. All righty. So this is a Disney detail. This is from Disneyland. It's just, you know how Walt Disney World has the same type of thing. When you go down Main Street, there's that little street off to the side, off to the right.
Mhm.
So this isn't Disneyland. They have the same type of street. And at the end of that street, they have this wall and this water fountain. And this is one of the very first walls they made in Disneyland. And this is what they call the test wall. And if you zoom in a little bit, so when they were building Disneyland, they were debating if they should have the bricks cartoony down Main Street or if they should be like actual buildings. So they did this test wall. So if you look at these bricks, they're very professionally done,
Mhm.
whereas these ones are kind of wobbly and
Like the Three Stooges did them.
yeah. So this was their attempt at doing a cartoony type of brick. And at the end, Walt decided he preferred these bricks. So all the buildings are now in Disneyland and
Okay.
Disney World in this style of bricks. But this was the test wall that they made. This is the very first brick wall that they put up in Disneyland. And Walt looked at this and said, I prefer this side. And that's what they went with. So
Wow.
How cool is that?
I really like the fact that they left it.
It's still there today. It's
Mhm.
still there. Actually, Holly took this picture for us about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Not
December.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the fact that they left that there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So if you ever go to Disneyland, you can go see the wall that Walt decided he preferred.
And what's really weird is that, just on a side note, I lived in Los Angeles when I was younger, and that's why our children were very young. And so that's where I really became a Disney fan, because we bought passes and we went all the time, like all the time.
Mhm.
And that alleyway that's a dead end is where a lot of the characters come in and out of.
Yes.
Mhm.
On the main street. And we would always sit at a table, there's a little table there, and that drinking fountain. We've been there a bunch of times with our kids getting water when they were little and sitting there. And then the characters would come out. We quickly realized that was the best place to sit to say hi, because that's where they came in and out. So my kids loved it. And it's so weird, even though you just showed me that's the first time, even though I've probably seen that wall 100 times.
You didn't
really
know.
physically, I've been there. I never noticed that. That is so wild.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's something you can draw.
There it is. Knowing my style, I'm definitely not going with Walt. I'm probably I'm on the Roger Rabbit side of that.
Yes.
Yeah. The old test wall.
Yeah.
And of course, that's brought to you by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. If you want to plan a trip to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Universal Studios, even contact Becky and her team. And again, let them know the Grand Circle Tour sent you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the word of mouth is the best way for us to, keep this show going. All righty, let's get into the show now. We're like,
Yes.
we got lots of time left. Awesome. We got 45
Okay,
minutes,
so the last time Jason was on with us, right towards the end of the show, we kind of got into his business aspect of him going into business with his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that a little bit before we get into your Disney stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us about the business and how it's going.
Yeah, it's going good. It's kind of one of those things where kind of a dream come true for a dad. My daughter, who is my middle daughter, is an amazing and very talented artist who's done very well. She actually got a great scholarship to MCAD, Minneapolis College of Art and Design, very well known nationally.
Mhm.
And really came up here we weren't even living here at the time. We moved up later after her, but just did well. And actually, it's interesting. She was really kind of headed into the college life much like her dad, more on the drawing side and things like that. But after she landed at MCAD, she really developed more of a three-dimensional love and doing more sculptural work and actually furniture design.
Oh,
and
nice.
working in that area. In fact, I wish I could show you. She designed well, maybe I can. I'm going to show you real quick. Like, she did a lot of things here. She designed that light right there. That's a light. It lights up and it glows. It's very organic and stuff. It's really cool stuff. Anyway, having said all that, I was always pushing her because she was starting to sell things or do things on her own, and she was designing rugs and things like that. And I just kept pushing her on the business side. I kept saying, you're really talented and you had to pursue that on your own in your own business. And I think I came to the culmination at the end of, toward the end of college, and things were kind of moving for her in which direction to go. I just said, if I could go back in my life when I was her age and I could do some things over, I would have thrown my shingle out much faster on my own and gone independent and been an artist and started my art business. I kind of worked my way through into art to get independent, but I did it through advertising agencies back in the day even before computers were really the main driver of that, and freelance illustration. I did ad work. I worked at newspapers doing art cartooning and things of that nature, but I was always kind of working for somebody else under their guidelines. And I just really pushed her. I said, I really think that you have the talent, the ability. You've already proven in college with some of the sales you've made and your skill set, you could go out and do things and design and create and be kind of your own independent owner of a company. And long story, we got to that. We kind of just came together and kept talking about that. I think she kind of threw it back. Well, why don't we do it together? And I was like, that's kind of those things that you expect your kid to want to work with you.
Right.
But I was excited to. So we just kind of came together, and that's how Polka Dot Studios came about. That was her idea, her name, her development. And my role really was more than just saying, how can I come alongside and kind of help you kind of launch this? It's your thing. Mostly I just have some background experience of running and doing the work, and I can kind of help you here and there with things to make it get off the ground and get going. And we've done some videos, though as of late we haven't as much, because in the midst of us starting this company, she also got a job as an art teacher. But we still have the Polka Dot Studios and still do that as well. The cool thing about the living and working in the world we do today, of course, is back in my day, before they called it a side hustle, it was kind of like I was always hustling on the side anyway with side work. But now, in that generation, at least for my daughter's age and their 20-somethings, it's so common for them to have two or three things going at the same time and feel really comfortable with it. I always felt like when I was younger, if I was working for a company doing artwork or design or creating or newspapers or an ad agency or whatever I was working in, I always kind of felt a sense of guilt of like, but can I draw on the side and make a little extra money over here and do a mural or, whatever, but that's long gone. And so nowadays it's so fun. And so Polka Dot Studio really is something that we do together. It's a way for us to kind of promote and do our artwork. For me, I was doing some teaching. For her, it's creating her design work and doing dimensional work and creating the things that she does and does it with her passion on the side. But that's not the only thing she does. And so it's really fun to work with her. And I love it. I mean, I get to hang out with my kid, and we get to talk about art and do work, and we get to sell, and we get to do things together. And one that's really been nice about it is, and I encourage people, if they can work with their kids, to do it. I've enjoyed it. When she was in middle school, I was doing a lot of school murals, and I was traveling around the Midwest. And being my one child who really loved the arts, in the summer months, she would travel with me quite often and help me do the murals. And
that's nice.
Yeah, so we got a taste of working together when she was younger. As she got into high school and she got busy with it, and she worked at an ice cream place and her friends in the summer. So not as much. She would travel with me, but during those middle school years, we really got to travel together and see the Midwest, especially, and got to do art together. And I think it kind of reminisced for us. We were like, well, we've already done some of this when you were younger, so we already kind of know that we can do things together, and we have a good relationship.
Yeah, sure.
It's a blessing. And so it's for us, it's just, it's a way to make some income, but more than that, it's for us kind of having a family business,
Yeah, absolutely. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, Stan, what do you want to start with?
Well, you have, and you have a book coming out now. Is that with your daughter as well?
Yeah. Well, not with my daughter on this one, even though I'd love to do that at some point. No, I was contacted by a great author. Her name is Jill Kuntzel, and likes my work and seen a lot of it online, actually. I mean, I knew her before, but I think that's the value of today too, with the social media, and you guys know it better than anyone. Being able to get out and get your stuff that you care about to the world opens up a lot. So she really liked my cartooning style. She loved it when I would draw like little monsters, and things like that. And on my Facebook page, I have different avenues, but that one I primarily use for me to do things like daily sketches. I take like 20 minutes to a half hour every day. I sit down, I bang something out, and I draw it. It's fun and it's good for business. Well, Jill, I know a little bit, but she saw that, contacted me, and she says, I want you to illustrate the story I wrote. And so it's called Lulu and the Likely Luckiest Day Ever. And it's just wonderful. And I can't give too much away because it isn't coming out to print just yet, but it will be out before Christmas in stores. And
good.
But it's a wonderful story about a little girl, Munster, who explores her day. And it's kind of how the reality of, even though we would say an ordinary day, there's a lot of extraordinary things in an ordinary day, and the likely luckiest day ever. And it's just full of fun little characters. And I loved it because the assignment for me was kind of a fantasy one, in that create a monster type world, not like Monster Inc., but kind of, create a world in which these monsters live and their friends and their family, and how they kind of explore the simple things of life, but how special it is in a given day. I think the moral of the story, I'm not giving it away, there's a twist at the end, but I think the moral of the story is, for every child, every day can be a special day if you just acknowledge the fact that your friends and the things around you can be very special. Yeah. So I like the story.
That sounds very cute.
So you sent me the concept art of the
cover.
Can I show that? Can I share that?
That's a concept piece that we wrote. So
here we go.
So the first one down below is my quick sketch. And that one was just when I drew up really fast, when I'm just thinking of ideas. And then the top one is I colorize it I take it a step further, and I just kind of see what the characters are in my mind, kind of a storyboard, like what would they look like in real. And so those are the main characters of the story. Cute. And
what would you say the age group is for this?
That's a great question, Chris. I was thinking about that the other day, and at first I said like 8 to 11 or so, but actually I think really the age group for this is probably about 5 to 11 or 12. Because the story is simple enough in a sense that if you're a 5 or 6 year old, you'll understand it. But I think the concept of it and the content of when you think about friendship and the value of things around you, like a 10, 11 year old would really value it too. So it's fun. And I liked it because Jill was so good to work with. I just chops out to her. Jill put together a great story. And, I've gotten other offers. It's my 7th book I've illustrated. And I got to be honest with you, of the 7, I won't say, but it probably had a couple I'm like, story wise, I don't know if I resonated with it, but I hate to say, but I was paid. I was an illustrator and I did the job. But this story, I read it and I wanted to be on it right away because I felt like the way it was written was well done. It was just well crafted, and I love the moral of it. And I really liked her because she was like, I want you to step outside the box and create it in your mind of how you see it. And I've also worked in some situations where they limit you as an artist. There's so much that can confine you and so many parameters that it gets frustrating. It's like, this no longer is my style.
Right.
It's somebody else's.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
Ken wants to know which one is Lulu.
Oh, Lulu's right in the middle. That's Lulu.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is Lulu right here, the red one.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's Lulu and her friends. Yeah.
Because I have grandkids that age, so
you'll have to get it.
I always buy books for them because buying toys is a waste because they get so many from everybody else that I like buying books for them. So
I'll make sure to get Chris. I'll get you one. I'll get it signed.
Okay.
The thing about it too is like it's going to come out, we hope, before Christmas. And Jilson, the author, is working with the publisher on that. But I think it's also going to be a hardcover, which I'm really glad to see. A lot of books now aren't, but I think she just really understands putting together a nice quality product. It's important that it's done with high quality, which I really value.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love the look. I love the style of the characters and all.
Yeah,
that.
they're very cute.
It looks really cute. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Yeah. So I thank you for letting me promote that a little bit for Jill and us, and there'll be more news coming out. I'll put it on Facebook and other social media once. Yeah. And I hope that's the thing that's going back to Polka Dot Studio, is that the reason we also did that is it's really for us, it's an avenue to get commission or get connection work. So that helped, So if there's someone watching this right now who has a great children's story, they want to move forward on it, and then the funding is there, or however they shape it, and they like my style of artwork, or they whatever, you know, that's another thing that Polka Dot allows, is for me to be able to make connections with people, to look at that and be reviewed and go, okay, well, maybe, because I like doing children's books. I really do. I find that it fits me and my style of art very well. And children's books are wonderful. And yeah, if you can get into that lane, it's a fun one to do the work. It really is a process I enjoy a lot. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's I got another picture here. I was going to put it up if I could find it.
Yeah, Lily, I like hardcover kids books too. First of all, they last a lot longer.
They do. They do.
And they're not tearing apart.
Oh, this one, yeah. That's another quick sketch. Now that one, I gotta be honest with you, that one you look at it, a little different. I did that live. And so like on my Facebook page, if people are interested, a little plug for me, I guess. But if you go to just my Facebook page, and you're on Facebook, most people are, I tried, and you know this, and you guys have seen it too, Chris and Stan, but you know, I try to do something every day, a little something. And so someone had said, well, you should draw it really quick. So I sat down and did a real quick live illustration, take, 10, 15 minutes, and just kind of draw out Lulu. And I gave a little bit away there in that they do visit a place called Peachy Keen Park. And so
that's so cute.
So I threw that in there really quick. And it was kind of a how to draw Lulu night. But anyway, it's just fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken is saying he's such a fan of your work. It's very unique and exciting style, he's saying.
Oh, thank you, Ken. That's so nice of you. Appreciate that.
And I see Mary, Louie, and Steve joined us too. So
yes.
Oh, good. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you. So I'll let you know as it gets closer, but it's fun to be involved in a children's book. And I like it too because it's teamwork. It's fun to be able to be in projects where you work with other people. I'm a relational person, and I'm more of an extrovert than an introvert, which isn't always common with a lot of artists. But for me, I never get lonely at the drawing desk. I can sit there for hours on end, and I just feel very fulfilled. Chris, you get that,
Yep.
But when you get a chance to do like an art project, or and you guys know this, there's just something really special about working with somebody else on a project and getting their input and their thoughts. And when I do a children's book, we do a lot of storyboarding, and I've done a lot of really loose sketches, and communicating back and forth and showing things, and getting feedback from people in the process only makes a better product. And I'm really comfortable with that. I'm not nervous about critique, and I like it when people are able to kind of step back and go, oh, I think whatever, I move this or that, or have you thought about approaching it maybe with the character like this more? To me, I just don't find that as a threatening thing. In fact, since it's talking about Disney, it's one of the things I always appreciate. I love the history, and I kind of hope they still keep it this way. That I love the old images of Walt walking around in the studio, and everybody was hands-on with the storyboard, and they were animating, and they were actually acting out, and they were giving feedback, and it was so give and take, and everybody was bouncing ideas off everybody else, and everybody was in the mix. And let's just be honest. I mean, if you look at the first, I don't know, probably 5 to 7 movies that they did, feature-length movies. I mean, the brilliance of those pictures are because of that effort of a collaborative bullpen teamwork approach.
Absolutely.
And people don't even in the comic world, I'm a big comic book fan. I love comics. I drew a lot of stuff too. I love Marvel because Marvel had the bullpen in the 60s where Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, John Buscema, all these characters, John Romita, they all got together. And it was this room that was just always constantly evaluating, bouncing ideas, working together, throwing ideas, and they mixed it up together. And I think the end product proved itself. There's something about teamwork and artwork.
Yeah. I think Saturday Night Live is like that today.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. They kind of.
Yes. And so one thing I worry about in this isolated sense of where it could be in social media or even a lot in the art world now is that so many things are done in isolation. And weirdly enough, some of the give and take and some of the interaction, just in that kind of environment, what I think it does is that I think your artwork can be great, but I think sometimes your story or some of that gets a little, it's like it's in a one lane.
Yeah, it's lacking in a lot of different dimensions that way.
It doesn't have, you don't feel like it has it's like the difference between someone playing a solo instrument or an orchestra. When you're in the orchestra on the full sound, to get everybody engaged, it takes it to another level.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do you have some art to show us?
Yeah, you want to see some stuff? Okay, so
yeah,
since the last time I was on, I've done a ton of artwork. I'm doing it all the time. I thought, what did I do or not do? And I know with Disney we should do that. So let me show you some stuff. I got something you're gonna love with Canada, since we have Winnipeg here. Okay, so
wait a minute here. Oh, that one doesn't work. Which one?
Can we do this? So
there we go.
Can you see it?
Oh
there
yeah,
the
Canada
Epcot.
Pavilion.
The Canada Pavilion, Epcot.
So we got the totem.
Yes.
There we are.
Now the reason I did this, I did it for you, Stan, in a sense I want you to see it. Truth is, I did this a while ago, and actually I thought to myself, what is something I've never seen drawn? That's it. They're always drawing the castle, they're drawing, the globe, they're drawing the tree but they're never drawing this thing. And I thought to myself, this exhibit, and I thought in this attraction, this, and actually, if you look at it, it's actually breathtakingly beautiful.
Yeah, that is really nice for sure.
So there you go. So, so
Canada gets very little
all the Canadian fans. And
honestly, talks about Japan and they talk about Italy and France.
So I've been starting to mess around doing a lot more with tiki.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And I've been really drawn, and then I just pulled one out. I've done about 5 or 6 since we last spoken, and people like them. The tiki thing is really taken off, especially like in Disneyland and some of the folks I know out in LA. That tiki culture is just exploding there. I don't know if is that the case in Walt Disney World, but I know that Disneyland, there is like a whole fan club. It is a thing. It is a big thing. And I would encourage you guys who's watching right now, check out a guy named Jeff Granito. Have you ever heard of Jeff Granito? Granito. Go check out his stuff. He does a lot of work, Disney stuff. But the whole tiki culture is just exploding. So I've got a lot more people wanting stuff where they like this. So one of the totems from,
Okay, cool.
What can I do? I could show, now this one was kind of fun. I'll show you 2 that are culturally very connected because of movies. So I just recently did this one not too long ago.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
And that's my take on the Haunted Mansion in Disney World or at the Magic Kingdom. And they all. I don't even know. I don't know how many mansions. How many mansions are there now? Are there like 4 or 5? 5?
7, I think, isn't there?
7,
Hong
I
Kong,
think.
Shanghai, Tokyo.
Is there 7? Are you serious?
Or no, hang on. Shanghai does not have.
Oh.
Hong Kong, Tokyo, Paris, World Land 5.
Now, and I think I've drawn at least 4 of those. Okay. But I've always been real privy to the one in Florida because the angles on it are really cool at nighttime. I think.
Well, they got the chess pieces and all that in Florida as well.
Yeah,
really cool.
And I love standing in line. I love the courtyard. I love all the musical instruments. It's just. But anyway, so that's my take because of the movie.
Now, are you going to leave that black and white, or are you going to do color on that?
Well, I've digitally done some color work on it already, Chris. So if you go to my Facebook page and drop back, I've got different visuals of it. I've done some digital work, but this one I'll just keep black and white. And I think I'll make some print or whatever. Yeah. Well, that's that. I had the character.
You got to do the Muppets Haunted Mansion now.
Oh, you're right. I'm coming to. I got one for you, Stan.
Here we go.
Okay, so do you want to see the Muppet one I did?
Sure.
I got a Muppet one for you. So here's my.
I got that one. I got that one ready to go here too.
How's that look?
There we are.
So that's
awesome.
That is my favorite one of yours. I love that one so much.
And so this one I did because again, people requested you should do the Muppets sometime. I thought back and I thought, what was one of my favorite Muppets? And I got to tell you something. Beaker is the man. He was the best. And he was always, and I love this because I thought I'm going to draw Beaker full body, so there's, And it was hard to find like, what did Beaker's whole body like? There's like one image of Beaker walking in one of the movies, so anyway.
Actually, if you want a full body look of Beaker, they used to have at Epcot, the Muppet Mobile Lab.
Are you serious? They had the full body one though?
They had a full body Beaker, and he was riding like a bicycle type of thing.
My word, that's so cool.
Yeah, I actually have a video of I did a Facebook Live of it when I was at Epcot quite a few years ago. And Bunsen Honeydew was in the front, and Beaker was doing the pedaling, so you get his full body. and it shot confetti, and it did things that spun, and it was on 2 wheels only. It was like a Segway. It was unbelievable.
I've never heard of that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, search Muppet Mobile Lab.
You know, that's the thing. When my kids were little, you know, we all grew up on the Muppet Show. I mean, we remember it and we love it. It's such a great memory. I mean, it was such a all ages. Every age loved the Muppet Show. You know, and my kids who are now the young 20s and stuff, you know, that they didn't really grow up with the Muppet Show. And I remember going down again to Florida Disney World with our kids a couple times, and they of course had the Muppet Theater. Well, I went into the place and I was just like, I felt like I was 10 years old again. I mean, it was the greatest. I couldn't believe I was sitting there, and you had the guys in the booth, you know, the hecklers, and I mean, they're blowing I mean, it was just gonzo. I was just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced. And my kids were like, well, it's okay. But they didn't understand.
They didn't get it. Yeah.
They really didn't understand what the Muppet Show was like when it was on TV. So I love it.
Yeah.
It's good. And I'm glad they own it. I wish actually they would do more with it. I think it's great property. Okay, let me show you a couple more. Since you like movies, I thought I would do it. You know, the Indiana Jones movie came out recently, so I did kind of a Mickey and then Indiana Jones. So that was kind of fun.
I like the color.
That is cool.
It's just a colored pencil. You know,
what color is that?
It's kind of a, I don't know, I guess to call it kind of a tannish brown. I don't know.
Okay.
Like brown, yeah. Anyway.
Like,
there it is.
There it is.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Look at that. That's a genius.
It is. It was absolutely incredible. And things spun on it and everything. Yeah. So
well, then the question, Stan, is how many years ago was this when they did that?
It was shortly before COVID they got rid of it. So I'm thinking 2018 they got rid of it.
Okay.
They might come back. I'm sure it's still around somewhere.
They should bring it back. Like, what do they do with that stuff? Like, that's
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever. Sitting in some warehouse, you know?
Yeah, they definitely need to.
And it was never announced. It just came out random. Like you had to happen upon it. They never. Yeah.
Let me show you a couple things that I did recently. That it's kind of my niche. I call it. What I mean by that is, you know, every artist does Disney stuff. We're connected. People like things. I think we all like to draw the characters. So again, on like my Facebook page, I do a lot of like today. I don't know what I did today. I forgot. But you draw these things really quick. But for me, if I had a niche, which I don't do that quickly because it takes a little more time, you know, I really love to draw attractions and I like this vibe. And so I'll often try to find things I look around and say, no, who else? No, has anybody ever drawn it? That's number one. And if they haven't, I want to do it. And number two, I don't see a lot of people doing a lot of illustrations of like this style of the attractions, and which I find interesting because when I go to the people who love the parks, like you both do, it's the look, it's the attractions that you love to see and the way they design it. So this one, I'll let you guess where they are. Can you tell what they are?
Okay, well, this is the water tower. Big Thunder Mountain.
Nope, not Big Thunder Mountain.
Not Big Thunder Mountain.
I will give you a hint. This one, the water tower, is in Disney. It's in the Disney. I think it's California Adventure.
Oh, Grizzly Peak.
No, not Grizzly Peak.
Not Grizzly Mountain. Okay.
I kind of stumped you, I think.
I think you might stump me on that one.
So this one it's really subtle, and I love it though. But people don't really notice it. It's when you're entering Cars Land to the not test track, but what is it? What is the name of the attraction? But it's where you actually it's basically
Radiator Springs.
Yeah,
Radiator Springs
Racers.
The racers. Yeah, the racers. So when you go there, this is like in the queue, and it's the water tower Stanley Springs, home of
which is a great name for a spring, by the way.
Yeah, and that's what you can look for it. And this one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's Toontown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, just different things like that. I love to do. I did that recently.
I notice a lot of your stuff you like to do is like the vertical, like the long, skinny.
Yeah, let me grab one. Like you saw these. I think last time I was on, I grabbed one. You saw these, right?
You were working on them the last time. You were not all done though.
Yeah, so my style is one in which I do more like. So this is all Toontown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, when I do art and people are watching this, my thing is, especially the Disney concepts, I kind of think of it as what is something people haven't drawn, and then also what is a style, and then maybe even like how you lay it out on the paper. Is it unique and different than what you normally see? So I feel like if I can get 2 or 3 of those things, I'm able to create something that's not similar to other people's things when I'm doing that kind of artwork. On the other hand, I think, like I said before, all of us love to sit down and I'll show you this and do this. I mean, this is just a classic Pinocchio drawing that I just recently did. So this one, no surprise, Pinocchio, very famous. It's colored pencil of him sitting. And, we've seen this many, many times. So it's kind of a combination of both. If I had to pick my choice of what I want to do, or I like doing the attraction-based imagery, but on the other hand, this is what kind of drives people to like what you do on the other stuff, because everybody likes to do Pinocchio. Or I'll do one more. I just did, a lot of people like this one I did recently of Louis from Princess and the Frog. Yeah. And of course, with the new Splash Mountain redesign into this attraction and the restaurant, everything happening in the parks. This one's, of course, this character is going to blow up and be really popular. Yep. And we're going to start seeing plush dolls everywhere of this pretty soon. So. Oh yeah, for sure.
Do you have the Donald with you?
Oh, the one I did just recently, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That one, I don't know if I did. Yeah, somewhere over here. I can find it for you. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'll try to, hold on a second. I'm going to drop off screen. Oh, here he is. I did Donald and Daisy. Like the Donald one?
I do. I love Donald.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun to do.
Yeah.
His thing and Daisy. So I did them kind of together. Kind of a bookend piece. The reason I started doing these, I don't know the story behind it. I'll show you one more before we go, but I don't know what our time is like. But fun little story.
We got about 20 minutes.
We still got time.
We got a lot of time, yeah.
And I'll show you a couple more. But so one of my dreams as a kid is I always thought it'd be fun to go to Disney at some time in my life, and I would love to just sit and draw the characters, draw out the images that we've seen in the parks. And they're doing that at several of the stores, and the Wonderground Gallery in LA does it. And certainly in the parks or stores around downtown Disney and things of that nature, they have that. So I had a chance, I don't even know when it was, must have been last time I was in LA, would have been not quite a year ago, maybe like about 10 months ago. So I was there for some other reason, but I took a day to Disney, and then I went to downtown Disney, and I went in, and one of the artists there was drawing, and I struck up a conversation with him, and he was actually one of the directors kind of overseeing it. He was just overseeing another person learning to do it. And we got talking. I said, well, I'm a little bit of an artist, we chatted a little bit, and he goes, oh, really? What do you draw? I said, well, I'm drawing. So I said, let me see. So I pulled up my phone. I showed him some Disney stuff I've done, things like this. He's like, wait a minute. What do you, what?
Am I being punked here? What's going on?
A little bit more than a doodler. I said, well, a little bit more, And he said, well, do you want to sit down and draw for a while? And I'm like, okay, it's kind of wild. And long story short, I got to sit down at actually one of those desks, and people were there, and I got to draw. But here's what kind of floored me, and I'm not trying to put it down, but they trace everything. And so, like, when you go to buy a piece like this, Chris, whatever you like that, if you could go to the parks, you could probably end up buying a line drawing of Donald, like something like this. But what they do is they pull out an already made template like this or whatever, and they place it under the light desk, put a piece of paper over it, and then they just trace over what somebody else already did.
Well, I could do that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nuance to it, the line and the flow, and I get all that. But I was stunned too. And I was like, excuse me? So after that, for the last 10, 12 months, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see why have I been doing so many of these. I kind of vowed to myself, I'm going to work really, really hard to learn how to draw these things without having to trace it. Because I think that's important. Now, do I look at something? Do I look at an actual picture of like a Donald or something? Well, yeah. I mean, I don't got everything down to memory yet. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something about that. And I was kind of stunned that they did that. And I understand why now, because of consistency. So like when, if you buy one in LA or Paris or wherever you're at, that way the Donald is Donald and the product is the same and everything. Now, on the other hand, if I found out I did some research, you'll get a kick out of this. I went back and I began to study it going, well, wait a minute. Consistency. I get that. The characters kind of have to look the same all the time. But if you go back in the days when Walt was alive and you go back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and they were doing comic books, like the Donald Duck series was done by a name called Carl Barks. He drew Donald for years, I think. His Donald doesn't look like today's Donald. I mean, no. Even back then, he had a style. Like, it was just, you could look at it and go, that's one of his. Like, that's Donald, but that's him drawing Donald, you know?
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, it's like, I think it's really cool to have the character maintain its whatever, you know, the Donald look, but then you also have a little flair to it. And I don't know how you all feel about that, but I thought that was really interesting. And I thought they're kind of homogenizing the art. And I kind of wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would just allow people to create it and then have a little bit of their style to it. So for me lately, what I've been working on is drawing them, but then I'm kind of letting my style bleed into that character, you know?
I was on a Disney cruise ship, and there was a Disney artist that was on the ship with us, and he works in Walt Disney World. So a lot of the art that you see in Walt Disney World, like the wraps around the gondolas.
Yeah.
He drew a lot of those wraps around the gondolas. He drew the wraps around on the buses, the stuff that they sell in the park, like pencil cases and all that. He'll be the one that draws the characters on the pencil cases and all that. Absolutely amazing artist. And what he was doing on the cruise ship was people would just walk up to him and ask him for a drawing, and he would draw. He had any character you wanted
from memory. From memory.
And he did, like, there was no data, there was no internet, he wasn't using his phone, and so
there are a couple of those artists I've met, male and females, who just they have that gift. I mean, it's just bizarre. Like, you know, you can say draw Captain Hook or whatever, and
and that's what it was. Like, he was just drawing everything. So he told us.
I mean, I feel comfortable enough that if someone said draw Donald, Mickey, Goofy, you know, the mainstays. I think I've done it enough now. I'm like, I can do that pretty well. But if you would say, you know, draw Moana, I'd be like, right, you know, or you know, I draw, you know, some of those characters. I would be. So when you see it, it's incredible.
Yeah. So I asked him to draw me because we were on the Disney Wonder, and of course on the back of the Wonder, it's Donald's trying to paint, and one of the nephews is using the scissors trying to cut the rope. Yeah. So I asked him to draw that for me. Yeah, he drew it for me. I have it framed and on my wall.
Wow.
Just with pencil, like, you know, but no charge. It was absolutely amazing. We got some comments here in the chat. Steve is asking, do you have any Goofy drawings? That's his favorite character.
I do. In fact, I think the last time I was on your show, didn't I draw Goofy for you live?
Yes, we did the live. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I guess I do over here. I mean, I have stacks of stuff. I'd have to dig through it. I have done Goofy. If you go to my Facebook page and just bleed through it, like the last 2 months or 3 months, you're going to bounce into a Goofy or two.
Yeah.
You know.
So Caleb is asking, are you a Disney fine artist for Disney?
I am not.
Would you want to do that?
Yes and no. Yes, I would, of course, love to do that. No, in the sense that after I've done a little research, I shouldn't say this, but because I don't know for sure. But you know, it's funny. I think yes, it'd be great to do that, and I can show you some pieces, and I would love to. But I'm also busy enough doing other types of artwork and other things in my life that I don't really have to do it financially per se. If that's fair to say. And I do know that if you kind of go into that as your field to be a Disney fine artist, that would, I think, could become like your full time. That's all you're doing that. And I don't know. I mean,
they really control you, because I've talked to some Disney fine artists, just like off the record type of thing, and they say that they really control every single aspect. Like if you'll send in a drawing and they'll say that's fine, and then you'll do the painting, they go, no, that's no good. Like, well, so it was the same as the drawing. They go, that's no good. So you have to redo it.
I think it's such a great honor. I've met a couple of fine artists, and I have a connection with one of them, and the same kind of thing. I think it's not limiting, but it certainly is a choice or a path that you take that you have to be open to that, I think. And and I don't, you know, by the way, people say, well, I'm very careful. I have sold some stuff, but it's very original stuff, like the attraction. It's all originals, and I don't sell, like, I wouldn't sell, let's say, the Donald or anything like that. Those are just things I do because on my own to have fun. I give away a ton of stuff to my friends just for free, you know, whatever. I'll draw something up and give it out. You know, where I really make my income is more with like the children's books and some individual commission work. You know, I'll show you some stuff.
Speaking of that, so Ken's asking, oh my God, I want that Donald.
I know, right?
Is there a way to buy it? Can he purchase? Do you have a website or something?
Yeah, well, listen, if you want to reach me or whatever, we can talk about commission stuff, but you know, you just go to my websites. I think you haven't posted on a link. And then you can reach me by my email. There's 2 of them there. Yeah, that one. And there's emails on there. You can reach me that way. We can talk about it. You know, some of the stuff you talk about fine artists. What I really wanted to do with them, and I still would love to, is I've sent them some stuff. I like doing these like really detailed ink drawings of the park, adding little nuances.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's overlooking the castle with the you know, that kind of thing.
Oh wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
I've got a lot of these. You know, little things like this too. You know, like the famous, you know, Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Love that one too.
And this is what I really loved. Like for another Star Wars, Galaxy Edge is so popular a while back. Everybody wanted me to draw that all the time.
Yeah.
Marketplace.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
These are quite large, as you can tell, black and white images. Let me just find one, a couple that people love that I think would do well, like in the galleries. Here's one I did. And you probably know that's at
well, that's the bedroom in the queue.
That is, yeah,
in
Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, yeah.
Yep.
I spent many
another one, and stuff, and then things like this, you know.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I have tons of these kind of things. When Haunted Mansion came out, people love that.
Oh,
you know, those are the kind of things that people love. This one, people love this one. They always, and I haven't sold it, but they want to buy it like crazy. This is the Toy Story entrance.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now that's not Disney World though.
No, it's in Tokyo actually.
That's Tokyo. Yeah, it has the writing underneath.
Castle. Again. So these are ones that I would love to do as a fine artist for Disney, because again, I've went to their stores, I've looked at their things, I've seen what they're doing. I'll do one more. Here's a Haunted Mansion and another.
No, that's Disneyland.
That's Paris.
That's Paris. Yes, that's Paris. I can see it now. I see it now.
And then I try to find the one that people. I mean, this one is probably, I don't know what it is. It's Walt's, one of his. I don't know, but I have one of the carousel that people love. Like, you know, this is stuff like this too. So.
It's
Typhoon Lagoon.
Typhoon Lagoon, yeah.
So I mean, I've got literally dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens
the one
of
that's
drawings
not
like
Blizzard
this.
Beach.
Yes. So these are the ones that, can I be honest? These are the ones that, honestly, if I was to be a fine artist, I would say these are the things that I would like to do with them.
Yeah.
Again, looking at it, I've been to their galleries, and I think there's enough, and they're wonderful, but there's enough paintings of the character, all that. What I kind of look around and go, what don't they have?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I look at those, just me, but I'm going, they don't have those, you know, they don't have, well, and this, the other one, I just showed it to you. They don't have, I don't know what I did with it here, but they don't have, here it is. I'll show it to you real quick. They don't, you know, this was one of I love a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that was actually, I took it from a photograph. They said that this was Walt's, literally his favorite horse on the carousel.
That's in land, obviously. And
yes.
Yeah.
And he enjoyed that. And when people would come to visit, he wanted them to sit on that horse. And, but even things like this for Toontown, I have a series of these drawings, you know, like this, that I think are unique, that I think would sell great. But, you know, I did one submission to Disney quite a while ago with some of that. And maybe I should do it again, but I never heard back. And I was like, well, you know, whatever. I'm not going to constantly do that, but
yeah, it takes a number of submissions, from what I understand.
Maybe I need to do so again.
Yeah.
Ken
would
is asking.
Toontown
He says he loves your Marvel art. You recently drew an amazing Hulk. What is a favorite of yours?
Oh my gosh.
Mary is seconding it, saying that the Hulk was very cool.
Yeah, you know, the Hulk. Oh my gosh, he's fun to draw because he's just so out of proportion and crazy. You know what? I like drawing a lot of superheroes. I think my favorite for a long time, for those who like the Marvel, I love Daredevil.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Oops, I didn't mean to put that up yet, but this is one of my favorites that you've done too.
Oh yeah, that's the Abominable Snowman. What I did was I did a series of drawings where I had people just tell me, if you could take two rides and then throw them together and make them one ride, what would you do? And so
that's cool.
Yeah, like take different rides. And so someone had said something about, well, what if you took the Matterhorn and Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and threw them all together? Yeah. That's a good idea, actually.
It makes a lot of sense when you see it like this. They go, that's a great idea, a great concept.
And so those are the kind of things I like to do because I'm a cartoonist and illustrator. I like stories. So again, Disney people, I'm telling you, if you want me to do that kind of stuff, give me a call. But I'm not just.
Lily's asking, do you draw from pictures you have taken in the park? It seems too detailed to be from memory.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I go and I take photographs, and I try to look around at angles, and I try to take pictures of things from angles that I have not seen. Again, I'm really big. Like, what's a look of? Okay, if I was going to draw the Matterhorn, it's pretty hard to find a new angle. But what is an angle that I could find that's a little unique or different that I could draw a detailed kind of pen and ink? Yeah. Yeah. But it's pretty hard because people have taken pictures, thousands of pictures from every angle and every possible way of everything. And, so finding that unique picture is kind of hard, but it's fun to try to do that.
And of course, Ahsoka wrapped up this week.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I draw all the time. I carry a notepad with me, and this was right at the end of it. And I was just sketching for the fun of it. I was meeting a friend for coffee, and while I was waiting, I got there too early. So I took a half hour, an hour, and I was just doodling in my news. And then there was a little kid next to me watching me. So I should have just gave it to him, but they left before I was done. But anyway, I like to do that as well. It's a lot of my stuff. And I like to do homages too. So like I could show you a few other things that I haven't put on my website. I'm kind of a fan of the old Disney stuff. So like this is an old, I probably can't see it, homage to a very, very early Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Let's see if anybody in the chat can name it. Mary can, I bet.
Yeah, it's one of the first cartoons. It wasn't the first one, but it was an early one, probably 1930-ish or so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of fun to do that homage to that. And then, like I said, this is one I did again, right? I've been really practicing hard just the other day, just trying to draw characters, from movies that I liked. And I think Tarzan is one of their good ones, one of the great character ones. So yeah, the elephant from Tarzan.
Have you done any Jungle Book stuff?
Yeah, a few things I have to dig around. I remember drawing the orangutan. Oh, come on. What was his name? Not Baloo, but
King Louie?
King Louie, yeah.
Caleb is saying that the Toy Story land is from Hong Kong. Disneyland.
That's right. Hong Kong. Now I did not go to Hong Kong to take a picture. That one I found online. That was an image. But the reason I chose that one is I was looking around. I wanted to do something with the attraction for the story. And they were all the same pictures, like Woody, and everything about it was all the same. And then I came across this one from Hong Kong. And it was different, the way they laid out the toys or the way it was designed, and the trees. And I was like, okay, now that is cool looking, but it's not one that everybody's seeing all the time.
Yeah.
What they're used to seeing. And
Well, what's great about it too is like people that go to Disney World all the time, then they see that and they go, that looks right, but there's something off. Then you say, well, it's from Hong Kong. Oh, that explains it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when I do draw images like that,
Mary's saying you need to do a research trip.
Yes. My wife and I would love that. The thing that I like to do too with the Disney side of it that I would love to do, and I'm kind of pitching ideas, but I love this. I think that people like it. I've done it in other places. People like, of course, live art. They love to see live art. Mm-hmm. And I love doing live art. And one of the things I would love to do, and I've done this a couple of times in other situations, is I would love to come to, I've always said, I would love to go to one of the parks, and probably, either Florida or LA, and go to Epcot, whatever. And for a weekend, I would draw for 2 days straight, nonstop. And I would have maybe a canvas or a board that's 20 feet long by 3 feet high. Using my pen and ink and some washes, I would draw the entire Epcot panorama of everything, all the rides, attractions, everything in 2 days. And I would complete the whole thing, kind of a wraparound cartoon version or whatever, the whole park. And people could watch me do it. And the goal would be to see if I could get it done in 2 full working days.
There we go. Mary's saying Festival of the Arts would be the time to do that.
I know. I need to
that would be ideal.
Idea. I've done that a couple of times. I did a 24-hour nonstop drawing when I was living in Sioux Falls of all of the buildings, 110 buildings in downtown Sioux Falls. And I did not stop drawing. I drew for 24 hours straight. And the money went to charity. They sold it. Everything was raised for charity. But I love doing it. And when I got done, people said I should do more of that. And I dabbled in a few of the little ones. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to go into one of the parks and try to basically draw most of all of the rides or attractions like at Disneyland and have like a weekend to do it, and then let people see if I could accomplish it and watch it live. And I think it'd be a lot of fun. And then when I'm done, fine, I'd sell it. Disney can put it in their galleries. I don't care. Yeah. But I think it'd be fun to try. So I think the novel thing I find with Disney is, I like Disney because they're always innovative. They're always trying something different. And it's that's the beauty of the Disney product, is that they're always innovating. They're always trying something new.
So when I went to D23 Expo last year, they were doing something similar to that, where they had one artist and he had a huge, massive canvas, and he was doing I think it was the Disney 100 logo. That's cool. Silver.
Yep.
With a silver Mickey. And it was a black canvas, but he was using spray paint. Yep. And so he started just before the convention started, and he did it for 3 days.
Wow.
And but the problem was he's using the spray paint, and there's probably about 10,000 people waiting in line. No, he had the gas mask on.
Oh, okay.
He was okay. But there's like 10,000 people waiting, and I think it was the hottest day in California in the last 12 years. And I was with Holly actually, and we were standing, and all this. So not only they opened late, they opened like a half hour late. It was crazy hot, no shade, and this guy's spray painting like crazy. And guess where the fumes were going? And all the spray directly on us.
Oh, God.
And that is why I do not do spray painting. I've dabbled. I just stick with acrylic.
So we were not very impressed with this guy.
Oh my gosh!
We were in the building. It didn't even start yet, and we were already mad at him.
Yeah,
here we go. We were high and sweaty.
I have dabbled with spray painting on some stuff, and it makes me nauseous, and even I hate having that mask on. I can't breathe right, and it's just not my thing. But there's a lot of different mediums, here's the thing. I mean, Disney, I love doing the work. I love drawing their characters because they're so fun, and it's just personally fun for me. And, I've been fortunate enough that my other projects or things that I may be involved with art or design has been good for me too. But I still go back to the fact that, there's just something magical. I hate to use it, but it's a cliche word, but it's a very magical thing to do, to create.
But it fits.
Yeah. So it's fun to do, and I love it. My kids and I and my family, we're big Disney fans, of course. And for me to draw, I'll pull something up. For me to draw, something like this, from Toontown, really for me is a memory. It's going back, and I can still experience that, memory again when my kids went to Toontown for the first time and saw that. Their eyes got big as saucers, and they were so excited. And all of these pictures kind of have that memory of going to movies, or, it brings to me joy knowing that, we as a family and our experiences, what I do, it's just been a lot of fun. And I do a lot of drawings, and people do respond, and they'll contact me and they'll say, I love that drawing you did of, Dumbo or whatever. You just put a smile on my face, and it took me 30 minutes, took me 20 minutes. Yeah. Which is nothing.
Alrighty. So we're over time already. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for being with us again.
Well, I appreciate you guys and what you do, and I love your show, and I like watching you. I'm following Facebook, and I'm glad you're friends, and it's been fun to be on the show again. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah. And look for this book coming out hopefully before Christmas.
Yep. And I'll let you guys know when it does.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm assuming it's going to be on Amazon and whatnot.
Yeah, I assume Amazon will be the best probably place to go for that. But like I said, when I get the information, when it comes my way, I'll let you guys know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you again for being here, Jason. We love having you.
Thanks, everybody.
Ooh, black hole captain. Black hole Captain Hook. Ken is Ken's giving you a list now.
Okay, and I'm looking at it before I go, and I want to say something to you really quickly. Oh boy, it's been a couple of years. I actually did a series of 6 cool graph card kind of things And it was fun. I used actually the Black Hole villain was on there and some of those other ones. So
nice.
Maximilian. I think it was Maximilian.
Maximilian. Yeah, he did say Maximilian.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Have a safe week, and we'll see you all next week.
Next week. And we have another special guest next week, too. So
be sure
Thanks,
make sure you're here.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.